description below. So if you would like to also go to our websites, all our websites are in the description. And it is amazing to have you back, Maria. Thank you so much for being here. I know we skipped last Wednesday due to, so you could say 5G tower complications. So during this process, I found that the 5G towers doesn't activate just one, like the content 888 that they were talking about, but it activates a lot of different viruses within the body, which is why my HIV came back.
Yes, yes, yes. Interesting that you mentioned this. It was about 8 months ago, if I remember correctly. I was meant to do an interview with two very beautiful people that I interviewed that are Palladian contacts. And they contacted me and said, Maria, we can't do the interview. And I said, are you both okay? They said, no, we're not. We're not getting good connections because of the 5G on this place. Well, I can't name their location, but they're on a particular island. And it was affecting them and affecting their connections with the Palladians and so on and so on. So very interesting. And when we did eventually record that video that people can find on my Rumble channel, the first discussion we had is exactly what you just said, Kid. And then they've done a lot of research into 5G and have research papers, and we went through those and how it affects the body. People don't think that this stuff is real, but it is very, very real. And I'm not surprised with what you just said.
I think it really activated when we went to the Truth Tea in Las Vegas, because I was hearing on a lot of TikToks that on every hospital, every hotel, every street lamp has turned into a 5G tower, because they took apart a lamp and it said 5G right there, right inside. I'm like, oh shit, no wonder I got like activated with all this stuff now.
Yep, yep, yep. And you're going to find this in a lot of the major cities, especially California, Las Vegas, where you were, and New York City. They are the worst cities for this. Even in New York City, I found it just too much. And they were putting a lot of new ones, little mini ones, where the lights are. Like there was all these additional lights walking down 42nd Street. And as I said, I have this special device that I use. And then on it parks a little one that I put on top. So it's a bit like a somatic spaceship. And on top of that's another little smaller one. And you know what I do? I take the small one and put it in my pocket everywhere I walked in New York City. And what it does is it did a layer of protection around me. Because I'm telling you, I'm very sensitive. And in terms of connection to Mother, Father, God, I find all this 5G Wi-Fi affects me. I'm very delicate. So at the moment, it's here in my apartment. It's activated 24/7. And as I said, I have a little one that goes on top that I then take. I put in a little velvet thing, and then I put it in my pocket or my backpack, and it just works as I'm doing my walks or my shopping or what have you. I will not leave home without it. It's like, I've noticed a big difference, and this is really important. I mean, I'm not saying everybody go run out and get what I have, but what I'm trying to say is people need to take precautions. This stuff is real.
Yeah, it is. One of our mods, Diane Casey, she heard you talk about it on our show and purchased one from you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I'd be interested to hear, her testimonial. But for me, it's amazing. Not only that, it's actually improved my sleep.
She said she slept real well the night that she turned it on. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it has a lot of interesting crystals inside it.
Ooh.
Yes, and it creates a lot of the crystals combined together create a lot of calming vibes. So I actually feel all day long in my apartment just really calm and serene. So it does serve multiple purposes, but in addition to that, I use it to charge up all my liquids. So when we drink water from a stream, like a river, it's all charged up pure electromagnetic energy, nature, sunlight. Now, the moment the water leaves there and goes into the taps, it's lost all its structure. It's lost all its Dr. Emoto beautiful crystal structure. And you can do that quite simply. You can get some water from a stream and freeze it, get some water from your tap and freeze it, and you'll see the crystal structures. There'll be no crystal structures on tap water. So basically what I do is I filter my tap water, and then round the corner behind me, I have a big filter, and that is right next to my device, the Somavedic device, and guess what? It charges it up, and it brings back all the crystals. So it's like I'm drinking the water from the stream. So it's
that's
putting back all
beautiful.
that vibration. So it does a lot of things. It's not just one thing. I wanted to add that. Now, another thing that I do that people may think, oh my God, Maria, I actually structure my fruit and vegetables. So before I cook with my fruit and vegetables, I put it next to the device, and they have water, right? So what it does, it lifts the vibrational frequency and structures the fruit and vegetable. That is the water content in them.
Yes.
So yeah, so I do a lot of these kinds of things. It's all about lifting the vibrational frequency, isn't it, of stuff at the end of the day, whatever we can, because they've taken everything good out of everything, our food, our water. They've done everything that they can, basically, to make us ill. Let's face it.
They've killed it all, and what this is doing is basically bringing it back to life, bringing it back to 0 point of being one with Mother Gaia. So what's funny is that, you know how all across the world there are those points with high energy?
Yes.
So, my guides showed me why each point has a higher energy than others. It's because there is an accumulation of people there. It's not Mother Gaia, because Mother Gaia is all about balance, equal balanced energies. So where there's high energy, there's high energy people. It's not Mother Gaia itself. So when you think it's Mother Gaia, you're actually being tricked by the Matrix to think it's Mother Gaia, when in actuality, that's where the people are. The high energy people, high energy beings.
You're absolutely right, because when you look at some of those chakra points and main points that you've just said, look at Ayers Rock, where one of them is. What's there? The Aboriginal people, isn't it? Mm-hmm. High concentration of them. When you look at where I am at the moment here, where the crater is, here in Hawaii, that's a major energy point. What's a high concentration here?
The people are amazing. The way that they go about family, love, everyone is loving everybody. Even all the tourists go there and go, love, 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 love.
I know. But even in California, Mount Shasta is a big, energy point. But what's below that? We have a lot of, Telos, our underground Agartha people living there. That's and true. A lot of, crystal. So you're absolutely right. So people looked at that sort of chakra point, which is also reproduced in the Keys of Enoch publication. You will see, if you look at those points, what's there. There's either a big civilization still of our underground Agartha Telos people, or above ground you'll find Native American Indians, because there's one sort of in North America. And of course, yes, that's what you're going to see. You're absolutely right.
It's amazing.
And that's why I was called here.
So on that product, do you offer a discount for our viewers?
Yes, absolutely. There's a 10% discount code. So they've given me a specific link, and so they've got to use that link and Maria 10, and they get 10% off. So there's different ones, different price ranges. So depending what people want to do, I've got the slightly higher price one that people will see, because I also want to structure my water, and I also want to structure my food. However, they don't have to get that one. There's ones that are like half the price of the one that I've got, which just do the 5G, 4G, 3G, Wi-Fi, and all of that.
Okay.
And Yes, yes. So it's up to people. It's up to their budget. And then, as I said, I've got a little one called Tiny, which was $50. It's like a little mini crystal that I put on top of I call it my UFO, because it looks like a UFO actually. I put it on top and then to charge it up, and then I take that when I go out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk later after the show about getting us set up with one too.
Fantastic. And they've also got, for other people, they might just want a little pyramid that they wear. They've got little structured pyramids that you can wear as you walk around. So yeah. So this was the one that these Palladian contacts said was the real deal out there, and that's why I purchased it. To be honest with you, and people can go see that video where they actually said all of that. Yeah. Yeah, so they're the ones that do the not channeling, but get the downloads from the LACMA Palladian Collective. Yeah, beautiful couple.
Kid is asking me for our Gnostic TV Starseed show that we're going to be doing, the link to it so that he can post that. I'm going to get that now.
It's going to be awesome.
Yes. Post that in the chat. Yes. I thought you were asking me. I think, oh my goodness.
Oh no, Candy has.
I'm like, oh dear. Maria can't multitask.
Oh, no.
She tends to lose the Zoom if she tries to do that. Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, I'm so excited about this and the star seeds. Yes, we're going to start filming our first one this Friday. So look out for that, everybody.
Did they send us the link for our show yet?
I haven't received it yet. So unless they sent it to you, that's why I was like, I don't think I've seen it. Yes. They were going to create it, but I haven't seen a follow-up email. So we might have to obtain that. And then what we can do, everybody, is put it in the link so people can go in there and get a first start.
Oh, wait a minute. I might have it. Let me see.
Okay, no problem.
It's from Rob, right?
Yeah. Right here. Wait. No, I haven't gotten it. That's our email.
Yes. I've just seen your email. I haven't seen a return with the link. Yeah, so essentially, guys, what we're doing is an amazing show together on starseeds because a lot of us here are starseeds. So we're going to start with a bit of an intro. What are starseeds? What's the difference between starseeds and light workers? And then really we're going to go delve into what your mission is, how you discovered the mission, what our role as far as ascension is. Yes, we all have a role in this ascension, whether we're in front of camera or not. And then we're going to do different episodes on the different star seeds, such as, the Arcturians, the Palladians, Telos, which is Agartha, Lumerians, and so on. We're going to give you some characteristics of each one, but we're going to dwell in it a little bit deeper than a lot of others. I'm actually, along with Kid and Candy, we're going to give you insight as to how they live. So if you were at this moment in time in the Pallades, what is life like then? Like, what do they eat? What do they do? How do they connect to Mother, Father, God? So I'm going to share with you the 10 little, not commands, but the 10 practices that they follow each day. So we're going to go into that kind of detail, which I think is going to be interesting. Because I think if people see, well, our Palladians are the closest looking to us, well, what do they do on a day-to-day basis? What does their house look like? So I think this is really important so people can get a little bit of a perspective into what we can expect from 5D. And then we'll delve into like the Lemurians or the Agarthans that are underground, just to get a bit of an idea, well, what do their crystal palaces look like underground? What do they eat? How do they grow things underground? Because they're probably the next more that look like us almost. You know what I'm trying to say? Probably the two races that are less intimidating, that won't scare people as much. You know,
They'll just be a little bit taller and skinnier. And
yeah, well, yeah, because then we go ethereal, Arcturian, which is like, yeah. So because it depends on the vibrational frequency. Some they don't, have this. So, the carbon-based bodies. So yeah.
Hang on one sec. Someone is saying that your sound is bad.
Is it?
Is everyone else? Can everyone else hear Maria, or is her sound bad to you too?
Oh, I'm on high. I'm just checking. Thank you so much for saying that. I'm just checking my. Can they hear me now? I've just put it on really, really loud.
Okay, so Shirley says Maria sounds great on her side.
okay, I did change the
Yes,
database.
I just put myself on high on my computer. Is everybody hear me okay? Otherwise, I'll get onto my phone.
They're saying she's
It's
fine. Yeah, you're fine.
I'm fine now. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. All right, yes, because I do want people to hear us.
Right?
So,
There
okay,
we
thank
go.
you for
Now
that
it's
heads up, everybody. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I think that this is going to be very exciting, because people can get to see like the different higher dimensions. But not only that, they're going to start seeing how the diet changes as well as we go higher and higher, how the housing changes, how what they do changes. Isn't that going to be exciting?
Mhm.
And then people are going to work out from watching all our episodes, because you do have to watch all the episodes. They're going to also establish, oh, I think I've got a little bit of Palladian in me, a little bit of Arcturian, a little bit of Blu-ray. So that's going to be another thing, because a lot of people think they only belong to one star system. Not necessarily so.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
True that. Mm-hmm. I'm a combination.
I'm a combination. Well, if you think about it, it's funny. All the academies that are out there in the cosmos, they're kind of like Harry Potter. They don't discriminate against muggles or humans or mutants or whatever, because everyone's all the same. Same thing with all those academies. It's many different species coming together to learn. Like my Star Academy. I'm Arcturian and something else, which I completely forgot. And there's other Palladians and other species that are going through those.
Yes, but aren't we under an experiment at the moment? Whereas you look at the Africans, I'm making this up, hypothetically speaking. So let's just assume the Africans are Turians, the Greeks are Atlanteans, the Hawaiians are Lemurians. Aren't we under an experiment now to accept one another regardless of color, race, or what have you? If we can't accept each other as we are now, Chinese, Japanese, whatever, without discriminating, how are we going to accept our galactic brothers and sisters?
That's true.
This is the experiment. They're watching us. Who's discriminating against the Africans? Who's discriminating, against that person that has, 50 million tattoos or whatever else? I'm just making it up. This is the experiment. They're not going to present themselves to us unless we're vibrating on unconditional love and have accepted every single person, vaxxed, I shouldn't have said that, this or without that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? This is the test that we're going through at the moment. We all have to accept one another, whether we're awake or not awake, unconditionally.
And we were just talking about that earlier.
Yes, Kid and I were just talking about that earlier, because we were talking about masks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we went to the store to get his new prescription, he was wearing a mask inside the store, and I brought that up, and I said, and then I realized, because his immune system is so compromised right now, a mask is a good idea for him. And then I got to thinking about many of the other people. How do we know or not know that they're in a similar situation as him, that they have to protect themselves because their immune system is shot. You know, and that can happen if you are dealing with the big C or any other type of big disease, or you're being treated for something like that. And then it came up, wow, when we talk about people, and we might snicker, right? Oh, look, they're not just masked, they're double masked or triple masked. That is not accepting people for who they, that's judging. And we were being all judgy because we were talking about that. And so I'm like, well, that's a shift that's happening right now.
And we're learning to let that go. All judgment needs to go. So
Yeah.
we went through the trial of patience. Now we're going through the trial of letting go and getting rid of all the judgment too.
Oh yeah, it's just it's like little sneaky things, in the corner of your mind.
Acceptance, and yes, this was the biggest test that I had to pass before I could leave New York City, and it was to be able to walk the streets, to see people lining up for the up the nose thing, to see people lining up for this, to see the three masks, to see whatever, and to not react, to accept, and to say, it's okay. That's their journey. I'm not going to comment. It's not my business to comment. I still love them. I have compassion for them. And I just move on as if nothing is unusual. I just pretend that person with 3 masks is just someone that's a green Martian that's just come to visit. This became my new outlook. Do you know what I mean?
I love it.
And I have to tell you now, even here, I'm not affected. I speak to them. I speak to people regardless whether they're wearing or they're not wearing. I'll sit next to them. I don't separate. I don't treat them as if there's something wrong with them. And even if someone, this is the true test. This is the biggest test for people. And I have to say, I have passed it. That is for someone to be very angry at you because they don't share your view, and to ask you to leave the lift car in a totally dark and isolated place and you not be moved and say, that's okay, sir, no problem, I'll get out. I have to tell you, if that was Maria 7 months ago, she would have caused such a stink up. Who do you think you are telling me to get out of? But you know what? That was a test from God. And you know what he said to me? You passed. Because you didn't raise your voice. You knew that he was, obviously very asleep, not awake. That's where he's at. You didn't engage. You didn't upset him. You didn't add to the pain. You said, okay, sir, I'm just going to get out. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. I'm getting out. And I think that is going to be the hardest test for most people. How are they going to react?
Action condones reaction. So when you can get rid of the reaction, you won't react to any action external of yourself.
Exactly. And again, we need to put ourselves back in our box and say, you know what, everybody is having their own experience and it's their free will and we cannot infringe on it. This is what I keep saying to myself, Maria, it is not your business to infringe on your family's journey. If they want to go and get 5, 6 of these and do whatever else, you know what, that's their journey, that's their business. I'm not even saying anything anymore. I'm not saying don't go get it. I'm not even saying anything. It's like, that's okay. If you feel that that's the right decision for you, please go right ahead.
My test was when I went into the ER and they're like, we would like you to take a test. I'm like, how far does it go up? He goes, all the way. I'm like, no, I don't feel comfortable with that. He goes, well, my kid's this, my kid's that. I did this for them. I did that for them. And I'm like, I'm going to have to humbly decline and thank you. And because I humbly declined, that also brought me to a place to when they admitted me into the hospital, I was so-called quarantined in a single room where everybody had to put on a gown and a mask, which in my eyes, I was like, I was placed in this single room away from everybody else. Has had that. Also, it kept me safe from all the other germs or whatever that was there. So we have to think and see it in a higher dimensional light instead of he's quarantined. Well, it saved me because my immune system was completely shot anyways.
Yeah, and you got your own room. Yeah, there is another thing that you can do if they are insisting, and it has worked for a friend of mine. They will accept the spit test.
They didn't accept that. I said I'll spit on it, but I won't. I won't have it.
Okay.
He's like,
okay.
That doesn't work. I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to have a decline.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, see, with honey, isn't it always, if you get agitated and it doesn't achieve anything. If anything, it gets them more determined to keep going down that road.
Right.
To get what they want. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of tests at the moment with these energies are coming through, and I keep thanking Mother, Father, God that I've been through what I've been through because I'm passing them. And when you pass those tests, and they are all tests, everybody, to get you to vibrate on unconditional love. That's what I mean by tests, to get us to where we're supposed to be, 4D/5D. What I then notice is the manifestations coming back to me are unbelievable of good.
Yeah, because all the resistance, it stops the manifestation. When you're not vibrating in love, it stops the manifestation. Because the opposite of vibrating in love is resistance in itself, whether that be anger, depression, judgment, it doesn't matter. All of that stops the flow.
But also judging that person for wearing 3 masks stops the flow. Having an opinion that one of your family members got this or didn't get this stops the flow. So do you see the extent of it? People forget those things. They say, I'm doing all the visualization and I've got my vision board and I'm vibrating very high when I'm doing the present. No. It doesn't just work for that period of time. It works for, the period of time that you're out in the street or you're around your family. And you may not agree on certain things or certain decisions that they're making. It's like it's everything in totality. So at the moment, everybody should be pretty much manifesting things pretty quickly.
So if we were to put this in a perspective of our everyday life, so when I walked into the hospital with him, and they didn't have me gown up or anything because he was still in the emergency room, right? But as soon as he got to the room, I stayed there for a while, and then I left to go get him a few things that he was going to need. I come back, and they bombarded me with, now he's contagious. But he wasn't, an hour ago. And so I had to gown up. And so when you look at that, those types of things, it's a matter of not letting the emotion get up, because once the emotion comes in, once you attach to the situation emotionally, then that stops you from recognizing what is truly happening. So Kid said he saw it as a form of protection for him. But because my emotion went up, it blocked me from seeing that thing. So in everyday situation, you're going to have to look at what is happening beyond the scope of what you actually are seeing, minus the emotion, so that you can observe it. And then we get into fear that if we don't react, then we're not going to protect ourselves, and what if. But it's understanding the fine line of what you believe, and it's okay to believe that without requiring anyone else to believe it, and then standing in that power, standing in that strength.
Absolutely. One of the things that I'm doing at the moment, it's every second Sunday, it's a book called A Course in Miracles. Okay, God guided me that I need to do A Course in Miracles. And one of the things, it's all about miracles, which is manifestation. And one of the things that it says is if you're not manifesting or you're seeing something and you're getting emotional, really you're having a delusional moment, and there is a requirement for a shift in perception. That's all it is. It's just a shift in perception. And when you shift that perception, which is what Kit did, his perception was, this is going to protect me, this is great, bring it on, my own. Get the champagne out. He was like, manifesting all of this, calm, happy, joy. So he was having a shift in perception towards a miracle shift of perception. Whereas we have all been trained, unfortunately, through these evil systems and education system and everything else to have, oh my God, worst case scenario, oh my goodness me, this is going to happen. It's like a delusional perception away from miracles. And that's what the whole Course in Miracles does. It's a program and a text and practices that help you shift out of that and get in totally into the miracle mode. And when you do that, what I've noticed, it's like you can't get out of it.
It's true.
And it doesn't matter what happens around you. There could be crazy people in front of me. It's like, oh, okay, see you later, hello. Like I'm still smiling. Like it's wonderful. This wonderful Hawaiian man downstairs at reception, he puts like our parcels in the lockers when we get from Amazon, then we press buttons to get them. And it was interesting, about the third day here that I was here, he said to me, are you always this happy? He said. I said, yeah, well, he says, you are the happiest person in this building, he said. The happiest person I've seen. And he says, can I hug you? And I said, absolutely. And he keeps saying, nothing phases you. It's like you could be seeing disaster or whatever happening to dogs. It's like, it's okay. But this is what we're talking about. This is where we all need to get to. I'm not saying it was easy.
No, it's not.
I have been through hell and back for over 50 years of my life. And some people know my story, some don't. We don't need to get into it. But what I'm trying to say, I went through hell and back to get to where I am, but I did the work. And I'm not saying, so what I'm trying to say, it's not going to be easy, but it is possible. And everybody's very blessed at the moment because the energies that are coming in, they're helping them. I did not have the benefit of those energies years ago.
None of us did, actually, because the energies weren't as high. They brought it down really low at that time. But what we have learned through this process is the actual meaning of one step at a time. Seeing the baby steps as big steps, because if you can see yourself as an ant, watching yourself make a baby step, how big is that step? Mountain shattering. And that's the way that we need to see every baby step, and not just, thinking, oh, baby step, looking at a baby step. No. You going to say something?
Yeah. So, what these two were saying, my husband and I went to the hospital cafeteria, and we were almost done eating when I looked up and I saw a bug at the table. And there are people who would go, oh my gosh, a bug, and they would quickly jump up. And then the team brought to me, wait a minute, it's been sitting there the whole time. And the only difference now is now you're aware of it. It hasn't jumped at you. It hasn't flown at you. It is doing its thing in its life, and you are doing yours. And there was only the knowledge of shift. And so if we can remember that, that's huge too, is that it's just a knowledge of shift.
Yep. It's a shift in perception. It's just a shift of a crazy thought, a shift of a delusional moment, and you got to shift it. And where's the best place to test yourself? With your family. If you can master being around your family with the different views and the different decisions, some of them, we may not agree with, that's okay. That's okay. If you can master it there, then you can take that out to the world. But if you cannot master it within your family, stay there and master it and then take it out.
Because it's so hard to talk with the family because you guys have been living with each other and you guys know each other since birth, and it's like
one time I was asking my team, why does some of my family members just irritate me so much? And they said, why did you bring that into my life? And they said, because that's your sandpaper. And what happens when you have a nice piece of wood chair and you sit on it and it gives you a splinter in your butt? None of us want splinters in our butts, right? So sandpaper's good. It will rub off all of the splinters and the things that are edgy and
hindering your growth.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is why I was so grateful that I shared with two girls in New York City. And I'd never, ever shared before that in my life, other than, with my family. And then I had my own apartment and what have you. And, oh my goodness me, were they sandpaper, because I am so clean and organized. And they were like throwing everything and not clean. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I'm going to have a heart attack. So, and I said, God, why is this happening to me? You know how clean I am. You know how important cleanliness is. And he says, well, you have to learn, first of all, to live with people, because you don't know how to do that, Maria. and it's true, I didn't. And these were young girls, like in their sort of 30s. And I was almost, twice their age. But secondly, that's okay. Let them be dirty and whatever else, but you need to manage it. So what did Maria do? She split the kitchen in half. And she said, you can have that part of the kitchen and do whatever you want. Throw your things, throw whatever. No, I did do that. And I said, and this is my half of the kitchen, organized, clean. And I thought, well, obviously they might see my good example and then maybe say, oh, that looks good. Maybe mine should look good too,
It didn't work that way, did it?
You know what I mean? Feng Shui on this side, no Feng Shui on this side, because they're Chinese. It was no Feng Shui there. No, I didn't say that to them, by the way, but I'm just saying. And it was interesting, what I noticed, it made the situation livable. We were happy. No one was upset. I didn't have the sandpaper. And then what I noticed? Little shifts happening on the left-hand side, organizing things a little bit, attempting to be clean a little bit. So, so sometimes, we kind of have to let people be, but also, make it manageable for us. And it didn't upset me anymore when I went into the kitchen and it was a mess on that side. I thought, that's okay, that's there, it's okay. You know what I mean? Opa, they've just had a Greek party, smashed the plates or something the night before, kind of attitude. So I know this may sound ridiculous to some people, but this is the only way that we can manage it without lowering our vibrational frequency.
It's true.
Otherwise, we can't change people. And I remember one time, a long time ago, when someone came to me and said, Maria, I can't be with my husband anymore, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, she was going off. And I said to her, look, I look at it this way. Either you need changing, which is what I did, change myself. I said to her, either you need changing or the relationship needs changing. Focus on changing yourself first before you change the relationship. And that's what I did. I took my own advice. I'm going to focus on changing myself and this situation. And if I can't conquer or master that, well, then I need to change my environment, and that is find other roommates. But I found that I changed myself, and we lived very happily ever after for just over 3 years, the three of us.
You
It's
know,
a long time.
I've learned that when things feel out of control, control what you can, yes, but there's another step to that. When things are out of control, it means it's out of control outside of your experience, which means that, yes, control what you can out there, but you have to have 110% of finding your self control. And that is where it's going to become easier to be the master of doing anything with the emotional, the physical, the spiritual, the mental, and the feelings that come up with all of those.
Yes, yes. And again, the feelings are not about them, it's about us.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that we need to heal because we've been trained, and I did this is why I'm saying this. I used to think I'm feeling that emotion, something about them, they need to fix it. I'd always sort of divert it to the other person, years and years ago. And then God said to me, what are you doing? You're never taking any responsibility that perhaps this emotion is happening. It's because you need to heal something, and it's got nothing to do with them. So always what I then did was, if I had an emotion, it's like, Maria, what do you need to heal? What do you need to fix?
I kind of am deterred away from the word responsibility because it's like a control word. I like to use the word taking ownership.
Nice.
Because when you take ownership, guess what? You're taking ownership of your life. You are a free man, a free woman that's living off the land, taking ownership.
Yes.
So that's
nice.
that's what I say. So every time that I hurt someone with my words, I'm like, I don't say sorry. I don't apologize. Screw that, because that is attaching to the situation, making the situation worse. But I take ownership of my action, and I understand how my words made you feel.
Yes.
It's the same way of saying sorry, but taking your power back, not spewing your negativity upon somebody, but you're taking it to, what do you call that? Transition and release.
Yes, 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 yes. And we do have to be careful with our words. You've really made a very important point there, because most of the words anyway have been cabal and means something totally different, which is why I'm looking forward to telepathy, because when we're going to be telepathically communicating, first of all, there's not going to be any misunderstandings, because it's going to be so clear, and there's going to be no secrets, because I can read your mind. You know what I mean? It's so yeah. So these are only what we're talking about here. You're absolutely right. We do have to be careful with our words, and I often do forget that, because they have such an impact in this 3D environment, whereas you find in other dimensions that is not even an issue of concern. So yes, absolutely. Even our choice of words, I'm still learning as I go through this, like Blacklaw's dictionary. Oh my goodness me! As I find out what the word person means and this and that, I'm like, I don't know what words to use anymore. It's like I've run out. I've run out. Maybe I just draw figurines. You are a head stick. It's like
Emojis. The emoji doc. You put a dog and then you put a little poopy sign. Yeah, dog shit.
Yes. But do you understand why the ancient cultures now had no words? If you look at a lot of the caves,
They're all pictures
what did they
and
use?
symbols.
They used symbols, because they even knew that words can be misinterpreted, carry a different vibration. So, and I'm thinking, gee, I need to get back to the cave language, when I'm communicating with people, so that I'm not saying something that's, this is, a spelling. Of course, the word spelling, you're casting spells, let's face it. So you're absolutely well. That's why they use the word spelling. So yeah, in interesting times. I don't know how these people are going to react. Again, people's a terrible word, but anyway, people know what I mean. The intention's important.
Other beings.
Yeah, the beans. Yes, we're like beans, everybody. How are these beans going to react when they find out the language? These are everything that we know, and everybody watching us
Well, think
that
about
is
it.
so informed.
It's not about how they're going to think about it, it's how we are going to react and train them into seeing it in a whole different light.
Yeah,
That's why we're
yeah.
going through these major tests as a family together all these days. So when it does happen, we get together, we make a game plan, and then we bring everybody else into it and train where we need to train.
Yes, yes, and
Keep your
help one
aces
another.
in your places.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's all about helping one another. And a lot of people are saying, Maria, when's the 10 days of darkness disclosure, blah, blah. And I said, guys, Mother, Father, God said to me, it ain't going to happen. It's happening now.
Well, that brings
And
up. Oh, go
sorry.
ahead.
Oh, and it needs to happen at this pace so that they can take ownership that they discovered it themselves, as opposed to there's a screen telling them. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So therefore, they don't have the heart attack, and so that their ego can handle it a little bit better. Do you know what? So I'm saying it's happening now, guys. It's happening all around, but everybody's going to, slowly lift their consciousness in terms of awakening into agape in their own way. So that's all I want to say. Please go ahead. Okay.
Okay, so do you know anything about the green comet that's flying by? It's
Well, I'm
supposed
hearing.
it's supposed to be making changes on our um, ley lines and also the polar shift. And it's what I'm hearing is it's going to be flying by around February 4th. That is just right around the corner.
Wow, wow. But have you been feeling the polar shifts happening within you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been having moments where I'm not quite sure which timeline I'm on. It's like I can't even explain. It's not dizziness. It's like I'm here and I'm here. I'm I don't know where I'm at. So I've been feeling inside polar shifts to the point where my diet's completely changed. Oh my God, everything has just completely keeps changing with me. So that's interesting. But I'm on a very major ley line here, and I'm already feeling a polar shift happening here, not just on the land, but within me, like from the ground up, because I do a lot of walking on the sand, because here you can be barefoot, and I'm really feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. I remember that when we went to Kauai. Loved going to the beach and
The
walking on the sand.
bullshit. I call it
Yeah.
the bullshit because
Yeah.
a big piece of
And
meat about this big,
Yeah.
$8.
Yeah. And I'm noticing another bizarre thing that's happened to me in the last 3 weeks, and I'd love to hear your take on it. When I'm going to sleep, I'm actually not sleeping. I'm actually being taken to other locations. For example, I won't name this person, but I was in this other person's home that I've never been before, but I was. And I'm at their desk sitting there looking at bank statements and things like that. And I'm like, why am I even here? Like, why am I in their home? So I'm actually finding I'm shifting and going into people's homes and places, like friends from the past or current friends, which I thought is interesting. And then I'm waking up and it's so vivid, and I feel like I've actually been in Australia and seeing the new things that are happening in Australia that I didn't know. But then something happens on Telegram, or someone tells me something that validates that I was there. So just some interesting transportation things happening as well that I remember.
Hmm.
You've
I've also
experiencing that.
been experiencing that too.
I'm experiencing that in my meditations. I've had some amazing meditations. Did I tell you about the crystalline tree that grew out of the seed that the Ent guide gave me, placed in my heart space? So I went into the Hall of the Gods, and the Ent god came up to me and asked if he could plant his seed in my heart space, and I said yes. And so he did, and this was over a course of a few different meditations, but the roots grow first, and it connected me to every plant in the world. So no matter where I'm at, I'm connected to the plants, and I hear their hum. They have a unique hum to the plants. And you know the Christmas lights that twinkle down? Well, they have energy that goes the opposite. It looks like a twinkle, but it goes up. And when I put my hands like this, then I'm connecting and to all of that energy that's coming up from the roots that are everywhere in the world. And it's feeding me their knowledge, it's feeding me their power. Is really amazing. And then it started to focus, the seed started focusing on growing the tree, and it grew up and up and up and up to the 19th plane, which is where the higher beings are, right? The higher beings. And I saw it go over all the world. And it was like a silver, pearlish, crystalline tree. It was beautiful. At the base of the tree, I had a rhinoceros come to me. And it was different than the rhinoceroses we have here. This one had a type of armor. And it was, the colors were pretty amazing, like a gray and a silver. I also had a unicorn come to me, and they spoke with me and then asked me to get up on their back, and then they took me places, and we went through a rainbow bridge, and I could feel like the spinning as we were going through that bridge, and they would take me different places and show me things and talk to me about what's going on. So that's what's been happening in my meditations.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And it's interesting what you just said, because Pythagoras did write extensively, as did other ancient Greeks, that there was unique sounds of the sun, the moon, the plants, the trees, and so on. And that's what inspired him, because he could hear them, to put the scales together, the frequency musical scales, of course. Pythagoras put those together. And he said that he could hear their frequencies and sound. However, to be able to hear them, because most don't hear, you have to be on a really high vibrational frequency, like connecting with Mother, Father, God, to hear them. And I so look forward to that time where we're so at that high plane where we can hear every single thing, even the ant. We should be able to hear the little ants that are walking, doing their little thing. We should be able to hear all of it. And I just so look forward to that. And in my Telegram channel, I have posted over the last year this guide that goes around and has a special device, and he plays the music of each plant. So he puts these special things on, and you hear the music of the cactus. You hear the music of the
I've seen
flowers.
that.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's what we'll be able to hear.
So, Maria, my guides just showed me why you're doing that, why you're going into somebody else's body, seeing what they're doing all at the same time. It's called a soul connection. And you can only have a soul connection when you are in a total 110% of pure of heart. And that is the training that you've been going through, which is why nothing affects you. And when nothing affects you, it gives you the chance to be able to jump into somebody else's body to actually see what it is.
Oh, wow.
So you're not able to take control, but there is a hidden space within the soul realm that other souls can come visit and give guidance. So my question to you is, how long were you with each person? Minutes, hours?
Oh my goodness me. Oh. Well, it seemed like minutes, but I could have been there longer. Do you know what I mean?
So,
Because that's the only thing I could remember for those few hours that I was sleeping. Like I couldn't remember being anywhere else. Like it's one place each night. It isn't multiple
okay, so
places
basically
in
it's a
one
whole
night.
night's worth. So
Yes,
you
yeah.
could say that throughout the day, when you stay in that high energy positivity, the longer you get to stay with the other people that you want to personally train.
Wow, wow.
So the more that you pay attention to that, the more you're going to strengthen it, and the more that you're going to be able to be more fluent in being able to talk to that other soul.
Yes, yes. And one of them, which was really interesting, and I am going to tell her, um, is she's someone that's very spiritual herself and, does a very similar line of work to what we do. And I'm so longing to meet her. She's in Australia. And that was a very special, like I was in her cottage, and I thought, this is interesting. So it could be, that nice sort of, way of connecting. And I felt like I was there with her, and I had met her, and I've never encountered her in person in real life, which I thought was interesting. But in that dream, well, it didn't even feel like a dream. It felt like it was all happening, if you know what I mean, that I was there, and it was such a beautiful feeling, waking up, and experiencing that. And then I thought, oh dear, is this what it feels like where they have those particular, oh my God, what do they call them? I did a video how in Tagetos in the Pleiades, they have these special, their version of games where they can travel. So if they wanted to be in New York City, they can somehow, using also like an energetic device that they have, be in New York City and be experiencing. I mean, I'm just making this up. They did mention New York City, by the way, and experience it. And they're in Central Park and they're walking, and they haven't even left there where they are, but they've gone and experienced all that and had a jolly old good time. And they're in their seat. And they said that this was one of the games, well, not games, but experiences that they have in Tagetos, in the Pleiades. And they get to experience all different, cultures and different places from around the planet. And then it was interesting. I had those experiences. Then I saw this video, which I also put on my Rumble channel, and I thought, oh my God, was I just having one of those? Because it felt like I was actually in Australia having that sort of experience. And then Mother, Father, God brings forward, this is what happens in Tagetos. And I'm like, oh my goodness me, that's what it felt like almost. Yeah. Immersion, that's it. Immersion pods, they're called. Just
Oh, I've
came
heard
to,
of those.
yeah, immersion pods. Yeah. And I thought, oh my goodness me, that was almost a very similar thing, but I wasn't in the immersion pod, so to speak, which I thought was interesting, but it's very real. And like you wake up and you go, no, I was definitely in Australia. you know, it felt like it, but I haven't left my bedroom, so to
So,
speak.
so if you think about it, remember that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Is
Terminator?
no, the one where he goes into the dream.
Oh,
Oh, he's on Mars.
like something call. One call.
Total Recall.
Total Recall. I knew how to call it.
Yeah. Total Recall. So he went into like an immersion chamber, and then he was on Mars. And at the end of the movie, he was like, so was that real or not? And that's what it left you with. And that was, matter of fact, I didn't even realize it, soft disclosure.
Wow. I've never watched any of those Hollywood movies. And so when people tell me about these things, I think, wow, they were showing us in the movies. Mother, Father, God guided me, oh my God, over 20 years ago, not to watch Hollywood movies and all of that. So Maria was really busy in her books, reading philosophers, reading this, research. And I feel like I left, like I missed out on so much because I would have known, oh, Total Recall, look at this immersion pop. There you go. They were showing everything, maybe not to the sophistication um, that they are. Yeah, but they were telling us the truth. I'll tell you what I've been watching recently that's really blown me away. There are two shows that are being shown at the moment on Pluto TV. And for you guys, they're very late because, you know, we're 5 hours behind here in Hawaii. So it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, New York City time. So I've been watching the Twilight Zone, and straight after that, it's Adventures of the Outer Earth. They've been telling us this outer Earth encounters with the reptilians, with this and that, how they think we're stupid and they can manipulate us, and they manipulate us through our food, through our water. I'm like, this is mind-blowing. This is a 1963 black and white thing. I'm like, oh my God. They were telling us, but you see, of course, I never watched any of this stuff, but Pluto TV is now showing this on the classic channels.
Awesome.
And as I said, it's quite late. So when I'm watching it, it's about 10 o'clock New York City time, and I'm watching it till about, 1 o'clock in the morning New York City time. I don't know how to do that. I'm still on New York City time on my laptop. Can you believe it? And this is why I can only tell you those times, not Hawaii time. But yeah, so most people in New York City would be sleeping at 1 o'clock, but this stuff is on, and it's a 1963. And of course, everybody knows the Twilight Zone, but now they're showing other shows aside from the Twilight Zone. And I'm like, I've not seen this show before. Amazing. But they're showing it early in the morning hours, NYC time. Guys, have a look at Pluto TV. I'm seeing some interesting stuff happening in terms of galactic disclosure shows that you will not see on the main channels. And it is a free app, or you can just go do Pluto TV on your laptop or computer and you can watch them. You don't have to sign in or enroll. I highly recommend it, but I was like blown away. I'm like, they were telling us what they were doing with our food, with our water. I'm like, this is unbelievable. 1963.
There's a movie out on Netflix called The Old Guard, and that is all about the people living for thousands upon thousands of years. And I mean, she's a warrior, but what's funny is that when you have doubt about your abilities, of who you are, of what you're doing, of your passion, of your love, of anything about you, you lose that ability of living forever.
Oh, the Old Guard?
The Old Guard. Mm-hmm. But once she got that understanding that her work has been changing the world, we just don't see it because they look small. But that small thing turns into a big thing because she saved people that actually invented things better for humanity. Mm-hmm. And she couldn't see it at first until somebody actually came into her life and showed her, this is what you've done. Throughout all these thousands upon thousands of years, you were here, you saved pharaohs, you've saved kings, you saved queens.
Yes. There's in Times Square there is a board that I used to film every single week on a particular day. Wednesday, Thursdays is usually when it did a clock over and change. And I put all of this footage in my Telegram channel, and it's the Netflix board. And that was on there. And every week they would show a new thing that's coming on that was some disclosure about what's going on. I called it the red pilling board. What are we red pilling this week? And that did come up. And it was like, oh my God. I'm convinced that Netflix has been taken over by the so-called white hats, because every week there was major red pilling going on this so-called Netflix board, which is right to the right of Good Morning America, where the studios are. And it was like, oh, and then at one time, I can't remember what the name of this show was. It's like a reptilian coming out of the gutter in New York City
Yeah, I
to
saw that picture. Yeah.
to grab people. And I'm like, they're telling us what's going on underneath New York City. Everybody, wakey, wakey, have a look at the board. And it was just incredible. So every week I used to film this board and just put the footage on Telegram and say, this week they're disclosing this week they're disclosing that. And
That's
it was
amazing.
yeah, it was it was my favorite pastime. Wednesday,
Right?
yeah, the ball, it's the ball, it's the ball. And then there was another board above that, which was I called it the President Trump White Hat red pilling board, because they would have snippets of like when they raided his place. So they would put that up, and then little comms, they would put quotes, God's in control. They would have him all armored up. And it was interesting. Just before I left New York City, I noticed all that stopped. And it went black. So blackout mode. So no more disclosures or anything like that coming from in terms of white hats. And I thought, this is really interesting. So we're going dark now. We're going dark. So obviously big things are about to happen. I thought how timely that was, the moment that I decided to leave New York City, that goes dark. So in what you were saying, Kid, oh my goodness me. Yes, absolutely. There's so many on Netflix. Every week there was a new one coming up to awaken people to the technologies that they've been hiding,
Right.
to our galactic brothers and sisters. It was unbelievable. Whereas prior to that, when all the talk was about, oh, look at Netflix, they're doing this and that, there wasn't this happening. And then all of a sudden I thought it got taken over, Netflix, and it got turned into, now we need to feed disclosure.
That's the way that I see every movie and every TV show. I'm like, look for the comms. Don't worry about the movie. Oh, they said that. That's cool.
And isn't that interesting? Everyone was thinking that everything was going to shut down, and then all these court things and trials were going to be put on TV, and the stories of what has been going on. But they have done it in a more natural way, to where it doesn't upset people, and it doesn't traumatize. So it's a soft flow in.
And it doesn't infringe their free will. If see, this is another thing Mother, Father, God said to me, Maria, we cannot do it that way, because we would be infringing on people's free will and throwing it on their face. That's and true. Forcing their free will and their hand. Whereas this way, we are giving the power to them to find out. So then when it is their time and they haven't, they've chosen not to embrace it or empower themselves to know, then they cannot come back to Mother, Father, God when they've gone to the parallel 3D and say, oh, yeah, I didn't know, you didn't tell me. Oh, yes, but it was your choice and your free will not to know. That's okay. Now you'll just continue on your journey. So it has to be this way, and it will take a lot longer than what we all think. But it's God's timing, not our timing. Time's an illusion, but it needs to be this way, because that way they discover it and they empower themselves. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So they feel powerful. Oh, look what I just found out. Oh my God, I just got that. Did you see what I mean? It also helps them.
It does. It really does.
So it needs to be that way. And this is why I noticed a lot of the disclosures in Times Square, which was the biggest red pilling square, aside from the fact that it's all cabaled and whatever. It was just in your face, and millions of people walk through there, as we know, every single day. It was like, oh my goodness me. But again, I would see it and say, oh my goodness me, I can't believe what I'm seeing. But a lot of people, they would still think it was a Hollywood movie. Like, they were not thinking, oh, maybe reptilians do come out of the gutter. It was like still not registering For a lot of them, they were still thinking that this is just, another Hollywood movie, make believe. So again, it's interesting, but certainly the disclosures, everybody will notice. Oh my God, they're getting more ridiculous by the day. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. It's like what's going. This is so ridiculous. It's like surely they're going to say this, But do you see now that they're having to make it so ridiculous for people to say, oh, like a Hollywood movie?
Yeah,
they
the
have
one that
to
says
make it like a.
the one that's called "Don't Look Up."
But no, even the Biden ridiculousness. Have you noticed they're making it like a Hollywood movie? So ridiculous what he's doing, because that's what people are used to. They're used to the Hollywood programming. So let's make it so ridiculous that he's kissing his granddaughter on the lips.
Right.
Okay, so in your face, and maybe someone might say, "Oh, that's not right. That's a bit." Well, you know what I'm trying to say. I mean, but this is what's happening. We are really watching a Hollywood movie, not for our benefit, because we know a lot of this stuff. We don't know everything,
but we know.
However, for those that don't know, what have they been brainwashed by? Hollywood. So therefore, how do you present the disclosure? Hollywood style. Hollywood style.
I was watching this TikTok and this guy was like, so everyone remembers Robert Williams, right? He was a great actor. He was amazing. And then he kills himself. But he's actually not dead. Yeah. And then he put up a picture of Bill Gates' wife right next to him. Same eyes, same cheek structure, same smile, same everything. And what Candy here said was, you see, the character dies of who they were playing once, but they just transitioned into a whole different story.
New character.
Exactly. So he also showed the real picture of Bill Gates' wife. And I'm like, yeah, that is most definitely a pretty woman, when the other one looks so goddamn like troll.
I saw a classic one the other day. It was on a Greek news, website, and it was, basically some Greek Orthodox priest there, and someone's retiring. This is in California. He's all of a sudden retiring, out of public life and out of being a priest. And right smack bang in the middle there is, oh my God, I've just gone blank. What's his name? He was in The Road to Perdition. Oh my God. I forgot the actor. Anyway, he's gone. Can you believe I've gone blank? Tom Hanks, it's come to me. Tom Hanks. So in the middle there is Tom Hanks. We all know he's not here. But anyway, and I'm like, they're exposing how ridiculous and pedo-aligned the Greek Orthodox Church is. To me, it didn't even look like him. It looked like some sort of an actor or something. I don't know, clone, but it's not him. And I'm like, this show is getting really ridiculous. And I'm thinking, how are these people in the Greek Orthodox Church in California, this is all California here, going to react when they find out they just took a picture later on, when eventually slowly it will be revealed that wasn't even him? You're posing, you're so. But do you see how the show is going to play out to really humble those people in those positions that were controlling these religions? I'm just seeing some interesting things playing out. And I'm like, oh my good. Well, not only that, they're exposing who they are.
True.
That they've aligned themselves, with pedos and all of that. And I put that in my Telegram channel and made another comment and said, we all know where the Greek Orthodox is aligned with. They're aligned with pedo Biden, because, a lot of them sat on the board of his charities. And they marched with the Democrats. So as far as I'm concerned, the Greek Orthodox Church has very clearly aligned, with the not very favorable part. So I'm seeing interesting things coming out in the media with a lot of these so-called religious organizations. And I think this kind of stuff is going to be their demise of humbling them.
That's true. Oh.
They need to be humble. False prophets.
Everyone does.
Yeah, so interesting stuff. And now we're seeing all the, the Madonna stuff and whatever. So as far as I'm concerned, that is the red pilling. I don't think we're going to have this sort of shutdown, whatever thing that people are saying. I'm not getting that, guys. I don't know what you think.
We're slowly transitioning, and as you can see from, you brought up the McDonald's, right? How they're changing from being a service with people to service with robots. And Candy found some information about how that's how it's supposed to be in the new world, because when we are all equal, wearing the same clothes, thinking the same thoughts, doing things together, the robots are the ones that's taking care of everything else. The food, the production, all of that. And we're just sitting there relaxing, having fun, being in that high vibration, sharing the love.
Yes, yes. And this is where I find a lot of so-called awakened patriots are not very awake, to say the least, because they're seeing these robots and freaking out. And I'm putting a lot of posts about the new robots that they've developed in my Telegram channel. I focus a lot on these technologies, and I get very excited by what I see. And I'll tell you why, because when we discuss our episode of Starseeds and the Palladians, that's who does all this work.
Mm-hmm.
That's who does the cleaning and all of that. They have robots that do that. They do not do this stuff that these poor people are doing now. We shouldn't have people in Times Square doing the sweeping, doing this. No, these people are powerful. They're intelligent. They shouldn't be doing that. So that's going to shock a lot of people. But yes, you're absolutely right, Candy. This is why we need these robots. And again, very important. They have used a lot of these robots with wrong use of AI. There is a good use for AI that they use, our galactics. They've used it for wrong reasons, and we'll discover the right use. And of course, again, I did a video on, as I said before, immersion pods, and I talk about the right use of AI in that, which is what our Palladians use it for. And the reason why I'm putting videos out like that is I'm trying to do self-disclosure for the so-called awakened people. Okay? Because they hear AI and they freak out. I'm like, guys, there's two types of AI. Do not freak out on me. Okay? There's the Cabal way that's been used, but in the new Earth, there is a good way to use it, just like robots. They've used them for bad ways, but this is the good way, for example, in the Palladians and so on. So what I'm trying to do is get people to reprogram that not everything that they've seen is negative, and that we're going to have it.
Those robot vacuums
Oh,
that they know how to clean the house all by themselves and then anchor themselves to recharge. Well, I was driving down the road over here, and someone has one of those as a mower.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. Now, it's interesting with that one. I also did find out that we need to be careful with that vacuum one because that company was a little bit cabaled and had a camera in that.
Mm.
And was filming people. So again, I can understand why people don't have very good maybe experiences with these things, but I can assure you that that won't be happening when we move over to the new Earth and such a high density. But we need to get used to the fact that we are going to have robots doing a lot of this stuff. Yes, we are going to have replicators. But again, the replicators, guys, there's a lot of misinformation about the replicators out there. They're going to produce a hamburger for me. They're going to produce a cocktail. I'm so sick of this bullshit. So this is why, again, I did another video, and it was only 2 days ago. Very important. They have replicators. But they will not, if you want a cocktail with alcohol, it ain't going to make it, because again, alcohol brings the vibration. It's going to replicate things that are in tune with that dimension. So there's not going to be, so it's not going to be chicken, meat, and all of that. It will be, fruit, veggies, plant-based, that sort of thing. So again, we need to be careful because there is a lot of people out there, not just in the movies, but I'm talking about other people out there talking about the technologies, but they're talking about them in the perspective of 3D,
Right. Mm-hmm.
not how they operate on the Pallades. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to say, yes, they exist, guys, but I need to bring you back. Bring you back. Okay? Because you're not going to be able to create your hamburger and your steak and all of that. They have limitations. So the video that I did a couple of days ago talks about those limitations that it has, because otherwise people would be going crazy. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And then we're supposed to be going up in vibration 5D to be using it, not on 5D going back down to 3D. Does that make sense? So again, now we're having to have to educate the so-called, well, they are awake, but they've been awakened to, I think, no limitations on a lot of things and misinformation. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I really think that a lot of us are going to get to the point to where we're drawing from the energies for the nutrition and not eating. Same thing with the telepathic abilities, which means that we won't have to make food, but we could, if we wanted to, divulge ourselves with a treat.
Yes, yes. And this is where we're going to be discussing, the diets of each of, these particular star seeds, well, Pallades, Palladian starseed, but whether you relate back to the Pallades. So we will be discussing their diets because they are very specific, and they do appreciate that we have been wrongly fed the information that we need meat, chicken, and so on. So therefore, they do have substitutes of that kind of protein for us. For example, they have developed a type of seaweed that tastes like fish, but doesn't look like seaweed, but it's made from a seaweed sort of type structure to assist us with that. Because, you can't have like a huge leap from one to the other. Some of us have adapted easily. For example, I've adapted just fine, not eating meat, fish, or anything like that. I'm quite happy with just, fruit, vegetables. The only thing I'm sort of, finding a little bit of a challenge weaning off is cheese. So I have found a good substitute from Greece that's vegan, that's made from like coconut and olive oil. That's a very good, high quality, no GMOs. But, everything else related to flesh, I've been just fine. My body has handled it just fine. But again, not everybody's like me, so we have to be understanding. I'm not saying everybody's going to be able to get off. Please, guys, please don't shoot me down. Maria's saying we need to become vegan. Eventually, we will, but we're going to have to if we want to go to 4D, 5D. But what I'm trying to say is they have thought of all of that and our challenges and our issues, and there will be those substitutes. But again, if you go back to your star system and become an Arcturian, well, you don't need any food. Hello, it's all around, and as we'll discuss, they have a specific, liquid that they ingest. They don't need anything else, nothing like that. So again, it depends on the vibrational frequency, and and then there are those beings that need nothing. They're just on the ether.
It's true.
So
the more challenges that you go through and the more tests that you pass, the higher the energies you go, the higher the frequencies you go, which means that your body will then start telling you what you can or cannot eat. So at this moment, do not worry about going cold turkey or doing whatever into whatever somebody else says, but just know that you'll get there while you're transitioning higher and higher in that vibration.
yes, your body will tell you slowly, slowly. And it was interesting because we had this brief discussion before I came on. I'm noticing that my body is telling me each day it's changing. Like, I love chocolate, but guess what? Now, if I have any chocolate that has even a little bit of sugar, Maria runs to the bathroom. I can't have it anymore. My body just said stop. I'm sorry, too much information.
Not at all.
No, it's just called the Hershey Factory.
Yeah. But, and this is good quality, not Hershey's, but good quality chocolate. But what I'm trying to say, my body is rejecting that now and saying no. And before I used to be fine. Now all of a sudden, my body's saying, no, Maria, no. So what I'm trying to say to everybody is just listen to your body and follow what your body says. So, and and I was a little bit naughty when I was guided, don't have meat, don't have this. Well, Maria thought, a little bit's not going to happen with a little bit fried chicken. Oh, no. My body went into shock mode.
True.
I was so sick and again ran to the bathroom and I thought, won't be doing that again. So again, as your vibration raises, your body will shake when you put something into it that you're not supposed to. And that's what I'm finding. But I didn't expect it from chocolate. So now, what type of chocolate agrees with Maria? Raw chocolate. Isn't it interesting? So I can't have normal chocolate now, but if I have raw chocolate that's just got, made from coconut oil, nothing else, I'm fine. So do you see? It's me. It's my body. I mean, it might be fine for everybody else, but for me, I don't like the feeling of running to the bathroom and being sick. And so I got to stop it. And it's Mother, Father, God saying, Maria, I don't want you to have it. So again, everybody is different. And then it gets back to what kind of a star seed were you from? What was your diet then? So do you see, slowly, each of us are getting back to the diet of our star seed family.
Each one's different.
And so this is a new series that HVU, Kid and Candy, and Maria are going to be doing on Gnostic TV. And as soon as we get the link, we will pass it off to you guys so that you can come watch the show. We're super excited about it, Maria.
We are very excited for that because all that information is going to change everything. And people's perception about, the family's perception of everyone that is, just learning about these star seeds. Because the confusion brings the worry, which then brings the fear, which then brings the doubt, and then it's like, where are you then? So it's amazing.
Yes. And then people can work out, I resonate with this and I resonate with that. I understand why my diet's changing. And I think people will get to better know thyself. It's all about the know thyself, isn't it?
It's true.
Yep. And I think this will help. And it certainly has helped me in terms of why my diet is changing so dramatically, because it's telling me slowly, Maria, and my food is lessening as well, intake. Maria, I'm taking you back to your original star system that didn't have any of this.
Mine was a different transition than yours because it still is changing. Because when I'm listening to my body, it's saying, all right, today is carbs. And then the next day I'm like, okay, vegetables. And then the next day it's like, okay, nothing but meat. And then, okay, more carbs. It's like, it's telling me that. And I went from 200 pounds down to 160 because I listened to what my body needed.
Wow. Amazing.
So I lost a lot of weight.
Yes, but that's great. This is what we're saying to everybody. Listen to your body, not what Maria's doing, not what Kid's doing, not what Candy's doing. Because, as the ancient Greeks said and practiced, and this is why I practice the ancient Greek ways, every person is different. There isn't a one size fits all. And this is where the 3D cabal has messed everything up, because it's like, this is the diet. It's got to be, I can't even remember what those stupid diets are. But anyway, those different diets that they have.
Cookie cutter programs.
Yeah, That's why I never work for anybody. You know what I'm trying to say? They do this and they do that, and it's like, yeah. It's like they took the ancient Greek word diet, which means a way of life, and created BS. And then no one could live up to that. No one could make any of those work. And the people that were making the money were the people that were creating them. You see? So again, follow your own diet by going within the know thyself and speaking to Mother, Father, God. And my diet's going to be different to kids, to Candies, and everybody else's, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only reason why I brought up mine is because it's different than yours. So it gives people an understanding. Oh, so mine's going to be different too, because everybody is unique. And what I learned from Doctor Who is that I love Doctor Who. Each soul is so unique that there is not another you out there. You can go from one end of the universe to the other end of the universe and even past that and still not find the same exact soul. Even in a parallel universe, it's still a different person.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
either way, that's what makes you so unique. Listen to your uniqueness. Listen to your body.
Yes, absolutely. And I always say to people, listen to what others have to say, but then do a check-in within yourself, because I'm seeing, a lot of people at the moment handing out, in some particular health and wellness chat rooms that I'm in. Specifically, this is the example that I'm speaking about. I'm seeing in those particular chat rooms lots of people that all of a sudden have become health and wellness experts and know everything. Have this, have that, and I'm a professionally trained health and wellness coach. I was trained with conventional doctors and regenerative doctors, and have practiced it for years and years and years. And I'm like objectively looking at this, and I'm thinking, you know what, you're leading a lot of people down the wrong road here, but that's their lesson. That's their lesson. Let them try it, let them do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then people are coming back. This didn't work, this happened. And again, what I say to people, listen to me, listen to everybody, but please go and do your own check-in. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean to boast, but I am going to say it. I mean, and this is, hello, I went through hours and hours of interviews along with thousands of other coaches. And for 2023, they voted me the number one coach that's breaking conventions and on vibrational whatever. Now, for me to get that, and I accepted, and thank you very much, it's such an honor. I did a lot of my work, inner work, to get the knowledge and whatever else that I had. I studied, in Greece, ancient Greek texts and whatever else. I didn't just emerge in the last, 5 years, 6 years, whatever. Some of these people, or ones that just go do a little bit of a Google search, I'll just give you this. So guys, again, what I say, if you're in these health and wellness chat rooms, please be careful who you listen to. I'm seeing a lot of stuff that people are saying, and they're just going and doing it. What I say, I'm not saying don't listen, but just, you might want to listen to us three that know a little bit more. You know what I mean? So anyway, so again, there's not one diet. Everybody has their own diet, and you're the best doctor. Even Hippocrates said, you are a doctor, everybody.
It's true.
Kid's a doctor, Candy's a doctor, I'm a doctor for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know how you're feeling. You know what's going on. You could feel what's going on. Oh, something's in my intestines. Well, then, go take some spac.
I think this is a good note to close the evening up. What do you guys think?
Oh, yes, and then I'm going to go off to my yoga.
Nice. Love it. It is such a joy to have you back on Wednesdays. We look forward to next Wednesday. So, family members.
Oh, and Friday. Gotta say Friday for that recording for our Gnostic TV. Yeah, that's going to be amazing. The very first video.
Yeah, we're going to do our first recording this Friday, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's in my diary here for 11 a.m. my time, 1 p.m. your time.
Perfect. Okay, and so
family, you guys are amazing. Maria, thank you so much for popping on and sharing your knowledge and being with us. Family, remember, You guys are the ones that's creating the ripples, which are creating the waves, which is creating that new magnetism of the 5D reality coming into our experience. So keep moving, keep going forward, and remember, we implore you, do not follow somebody else's rule. Do not follow somebody else's law. Do not follow anybody else's information, but go with how it feels for you. Listen to your body, listen to your soul, and listen to your heart, because that is where you're going to get the best information possible. Hiccups.
Maria, will you stay on with us just for a sec after we close up? We love you all. Mwah.
Love you guys.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Probably not going to want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Always go with the choice that scares you the most, because it's the choice that's going to help you grow.
Wow.
I can't do negative today. Positive vibes, positive vibes.
Hey, best friend. Wait. To the person seeing this, I know you're tired. I know you're fed up and so close to breaking. But remember, you have strength within you even when you feel weak. Keep fighting, best friend.
All right, family. Thank you so much for being with us today. It was an honor to have this show. We love you guys, and we will see you guys on Wednesday with Maria Benardis again.